close up on this. But
I know.
I'd never seen one that rusty before.
It's gross. Guitar and vice. And just, and I got a bit of hate mail on the internet for doing it. I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing.
like, yeah.
You sound your own strings down,
Oh, yeah.
which isn't a question, it's a statement, but what?
Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Dan here.
Mick here.
Seth here. Hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Mr. Seth Lee Jones hanging out with us today. This is so cool. Thank you so much for coming in. Seth finished a tour in Spain yesterday, jumped on a plane, has just come here just to see us.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you, buddy. Tulsa, Oklahoma, representing in the house today. And we've got a lot to talk about,
We
right?
do.
You may be aware of Seth from various bits of YouTube, various bits of Instagram, all kinds of things. You may be a customer of Seth's because he makes guitars and has done his fair share of repairs, refrets and all the rest of it. So lots to get into. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Dan, where do we start?
I kind of want to start at the playing side. I first saw a video of you and with that guitar making sounds that I hadn't heard before. The combination of the Hipshot thing and the slide, but then I see you doing things like playing it with your throat and I mean, the level of creativity that I was watching you do was like so rare, so musical. Can we get into that? Like freaking wildly cool at the same time.
Just all of it then.
All of it.
Just
all of it, please.
Yeah.
And go.
Well, I mean, I've probably told this story more than once, is that this was never intended to happen. This came out of a mistake. I built this guitar in 2006, right out of luthier school. And the first neck that I made for it was backbowed. I worked in Venice Beach in California, and I lived in the valley where it was real dry. And by the time I got it back to my house, it was so backbowed. And I tried heat setting it to get some action out of it, just couldn't. And I'd played lap steel since I was a teenager.
Right. The backbow thing means it was going that way.
This
right?
way, so the strings were hitting in the middle.
Okay.
So I put the big lap steel strings on it, tuned it to open E, and then when I pushed these two levers down, it went from a 1 chord to a 4 chord. And the light bulb came on. And I didn't become a full-time player of it for another 6 years, but I left it. I was like, whoa, that's a really happy accident, and I'm going to leave that because that's cool. But the original intention was, it was right when that, I think it was Guitar Player magazine did an interview with Brad Paisley, and they had talked about the Keeley Compressor at that time, and that was a big moment for Keeley too. But Brad was using the McVeigh bender, and I read that article, was completely intrigued by the whole thing, and was like, oh, I want to learn how to do bender. That's freaking neat. And
So
put this thing together, and well, the McVeigh bender would be like the ones that go through the body with
and
the little hinge,
right?
And it's a lot like the Parsons White, but probably more similar to what Glazier is doing now.
So it didn't require that whole.
Yeah, he didn't have the big route in the back,
Yeah.
the big swimming pool. but he used it for standard, and Brad's thing was, as I understand it, was more for G bender.
G bender, yeah.
Okay.
It took me years to work that out.
Fresh out of luthier school, I didn't have the bread for one of those McVeigh benders because they're pretty expensive. So I got one of these off of eBay, and it was the original one that had the bar that stuck out the back.
Oh
right?
yeah, like you hip it.
Yeah, that's why they called it a Hipshot. And this unit actually came out in 1983.
Yeah.
It's been around a long time.
Right.
And the concept of it has probably been around since the 40s. But yeah, the thing was sticking out the back, and I took that bar and threw it away and got a piece of steel stock and bent it up and over and made it like a palm lever, like this one. So originally I only had the G and the B, and I had made the B. I didn't know they made palm levers for this for a long time until I actually broke this off and called them and was like, hey, I'm doing this with it. And they're like, oh, well, we make one of those. And they sent me one, and these are relatively easy to service. And they just kind of went from there. But over trials and errors, I've come up with several other modifications for me that help me use it for this tuning and this gauges of strings.
Before Seth goes today, I will just run over the guitar with a camera so you can really see it in detail. It's pretty Heath Robinson, and it's just, you're like, I need it to do this, therefore I'll modify it to do this.
Yeah. Well, it helps that I went to school to modify this. So.
Okay, just before we hear it, fascinated by that. So you find yourself in California at Guitar Lutherie School.
There used to be a thing called Guitar Craft Academy at Musicians Institute, and that's where I graduated the top of my class. I got the Achievement Award for that year. They were kind enough to present that to me, and I got some job placement through the program, which was unusual at the time.
So you ended up teaching, right?
When I moved back to Tulsa, I was approached by the director of Tulsa Wood Arts, a fellow named Steve Walter, and there were some other builders in Oklahoma that were CNC based, but they wanted someone to do it by hand, analog, which is the way that I do things.
Yeah.
So I taught there for 4 years. We made a couple hundred guitars out of that program, and nobody lost an eye or a finger. I think every gray hair on my head is from teaching that class, but it was a beautiful facility and a wonderful opportunity, and it made me a better maker because people would screw things up in new and inventive ways, and I would have to figure out how to retool the fixtures and to make it where you couldn't do that.
Just to touch on that point a little bit, I'm sure a lot of you will have seen Seth play, but the quality of luthiership, the people from all over the country, the world, I guess, are sending you vintage guitars for you to repair. So you became known as the guy. It's like if someone had an old guitar that they really love and something was wrong with it, they sent it to you. So you've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, I've been working on guitars since about 1998. I got my degree in 2006. I worked for John Carruthers, Fred Askin, Neil Moser. I worked briefly for Mike Peters. So I really went around a lot of different shops there for about 6 years. I didn't have a day off. Worked for, did I say Ron Thorne already? He had his own shop. It was Ron Thorne Custom Inlay at the time. So he was doing a lot of Fender custom shops, inlay stuff, and Warrior, Gretsch, GMP, Baker. So yeah, I got a lot of different ways to skin the cat, as it were. Because I feel like when you come out of any luthier program, because I've done manufacturing consultant at this point for a couple of different companies, and my experience meeting people who are fresh out of programs is that you come out more or less a highly trained apprentice, and you really need to work for somebody and develop good habits. But everybody's got a little bit different way of doing things. One of the things that made me better working for Tulsa Wood Arts is I used to get there early to set up, and they had a furniture building class that was before mine, and they were doing inlaid tables. And I remember setting up one day and watching these guys, and they were gluing up these book-matched sets, and I'd never seen them glued up that way. I was like, what are you guys doing? I need to know. So it made me better at doing that. So when you work for different people, you gain more knowledge because everybody does things a little bit different. Everybody gathers different, seeds of knowledge, as it were. So just like my journey with the instrument, I've taken lessons from a lot of different people I've listened to a lot of different kinds of music. Only gathering stones from one beach is going to give you one color of stones.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice. It's exactly the same analogy. You said, when you come out of guitar lutherie school, you're a qualified apprentice. Exactly the same for being a guitar player, right?
Yeah.
Same thing. They show you where to put your fingers, but it's not until you actually go and make some music.
Exactly. I have friends that went to work for Fender or ESP and Schecter and worked on factory line, putting strings on, mid-level guitars, and they don't have a huge, vast skill set of things that they're capable of, especially when it comes to restoration. A lot of CNC guys won't touch restoration with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
So I can't do CNC work, but I love restoration, and it's my bread and butter. Most of what I do is restoration repair. I don't do a whole lot of student model stuff, unless it's for Oklahoma Music Academy or Guitar House asked me to fix something for somebody that they need something done for. Most of what I do is mid-level and up stuff. I don't do a whole lot of Hello Kitty guitar repair. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
You need
Not
those
at all.
guys.
Okay. How does that knowledge translate to your guitar playing? Do you find it helpful?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
When I run into a problem in the development of this instrument, I was able to fix it without going and giving somebody money I didn't have.
Okay.
So luthier school is expensive, but I've gotten my money's worth out of probably just on this instrument through the trials and tribulations of figuring what works and what doesn't.
And what works for you on this guitar that, would be different, say, to this?
Well, I mean, perfect example. I had a run of gigs. I used to be a sideman mainly, playing for country bands and Americana, and most of what I did was sideman stuff, either on guitar or bass. And I had a run of gigs one weekend where we had like six or seven gigs. It was 2 or 3 in a day at some point. And I do this thing where I'll bend a chord by pushing the neck and anchoring my forearm. Well, I get home and I had this bruise on my arm. Man, I gotta do something about that. And I went out to the shop and I had this big bench vise, and I put the guitar in the vise and just, and I got a bit of hate mail on the internet for doing it. Oh, you scratch it up, because they maybe thought it was real or something. But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have the balls to go and do that to that guitar and not having the experience with the tool.
Yeah, okay.
I have no problem grabbing a rasp and a $6,000 guitar and turning some sawdust right off the edge of it in front of the customer. I don't care, because I've done it a bunch of times.
Yeah, right.
That's just a really simple example of it. But, if you look at this thing and the makeup of it, there's a few things that vary the theme of your guitar here. So this is a pretty fine example of a Blackguard Telly. And from the outside appearance, from the camera, they pretty much look the same. This here is cut off. Now, granted, I probably shouldn't have done that, because that's a real plate that I absolutely demolished carving this off. And I put a screw here.
And this, you're talking about the base plate here.
I cut this base plate right here.
Yeah.
Cut that off.
To give you more access to that
yeah,
bottom
so I
string.
wouldn't be hitting it with my pick.
Right.
Solving this problem for me, having some back pressure, because the heights of these are really, really important to getting the dexterity and the movement. This has to be ergonomic, or you're not going to want to practice. And if you don't practice, you don't get good at it. So if you look at this thing, and I'm sure you'll catch it in the flyover, but these are setting like my hand. Your hand is cupped. That's how these bars are sitting. So that's not uncomfortable. When you buy a Sertano or a Duesenberg or a Hipshot and they come with the arms, I think Hipshot's got some arms that are a little more appropriate now, but when you would buy these, they're like this freaking long.
Yeah.
So having some comfortability with some tools, I'm like, well, it's steel. I'll just go up to the grinder and bend these things around until they make sense to me. So yeah, that's really paid off in spades to have some flexibility and knowledge to work tools and change things.
Okay, before we move on to the rest of the guitar, then let's have a listen to the bender, because this will be unfamiliar to a lot of people out there. What the benders at this end of the guitar are actually doing.
So I'm running open D, so D A D F sharp A D.
It's like an E chord tuned down.
Yeah. So just major chord. If you look at these A strings, they bend a whole tone. So that same thing, right? The F sharp, as it were, half tone. And those are set by the screws here that set your forward and aft length of throw. And so far as using it in the daily as I do, the only ones that really adjust, and it's from taking it in and out of the case, are these back ones. So when I get started, I'll sit there and make sure that these throws are the right distance on the tuner.
Can we hear some of that now, the way that you would have...
Before you do, how long is your slapback? Is that 150, 160?
It's whatever the stock setting is.
Okay, I'll put on the screen what it is. I'll time it and put it on the screen.
It's whatever. It's what is that? The middle dot, number 2.
On the halo.
I can't see that. I don't have my glasses.
On the halo, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a halo, and I don't touch any of the knobs. Robert is so gracious to have me in there and explain all this stuff, and I just look at him like my dog looks at me. Like, that's literally the analogy I ask people when I talk to people like Robert. I'm like, explain it to me like you're explaining it to your dog. You know, so
that's rather like me and Dan, I would say.
Yeah, so I like the settings on 2 here. So I got my slapback, and then I have the Andy Timmons setting, I think, which is this guy. So, but yeah, just those 2 settings, and I get everything I need. I use the slapback quite a lot.
Yeah,
and I really love it stereo because you can hear it. You know, da 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 across.
We got 2 deluxe reverbs we're using today. I'll pan them kind of like this, and then you'll get a good idea of the stereo effect.
I wonder what the settings are.
As we were then, Dan was asking you to...
Yeah, if you can just play a bit, because now we understand that the A strings are going up a tone, the F sharp is going up a semitone, so give you that like a sus type thing. If you can just play a bit so that we can hear some of the bender, just for people who aren't familiar with those bender type tones.
We'll put a delay on it here, or not a delay, a bit of reverb here for some wash. So just, you know, there's the D.
Obvious pedal steel sounds, but also steel guitar, lap steel sounds, plus the slide. Man, that is... Can you briefly tell us, I mean, how... When you said, I'm going to use a slide and benders, what happened next?
I got really into Lloyd Green.
Yeah, okay.
And Buddy Emmons was a little too scary for me, but the Lloyd Green stuff was more accessible. And learning country standards and trying to apply them, because a lot of those country standards are E7 or C6 or something like that, but like trying to use that movement of the B mostly, because for those, I'm actually holding the G lever or F sharp lever in. Most of that inflection is coming from the lower lever, unless I'm going down. And that's the A on top.
It's impossibly cool. What an amazing sound. Also, you using the volume pedal at the same time.
Yeah,
So
the swells.
It has to breathe. If I just leave that forward, I grew up playing in the church, man. Like, it's got to fit the context of emotional conveying, you know, like the idea is to make those notes sing like a person would sing, you know, and people, we talk in cadence.
Yeah.
You know, I don't just sit here and monotone at you. I'm talking with cadence to imply emotion, to further explain my idea. So the same is true with music. So giving it that volume pedal. So without that, still good, but adds a little bit of breath and air and movement of the voice, like a gospel singer, you know.
Can I just, sorry, Mick, is your volume after your gain? Or is it right at the beginning?
It's after the gain.
It's after
because
the gain.
I want to capture the full signal of the guitar.
Yep.
But I want all of the inflection of my leg, my foot, going to the delay so
Yes.
that it captures that.
Yep.
And as if it couldn't get any more unique, left foot volume pedal. Now, all you left-handers and left-footers out there won't find that unusual. For right-handed guitar players who tends to be volume on the right, doesn't it?
I played drums when I was in my 20s, punk
Okay.
rock bands and metal bands and stuff. So I have a bit of separation, and I actually think that I am left-handed.
Right.
I write with my right hand, but there's quite a bit of stuff that I do with my left hand in the shop. Particularly leading the piece through the bandsaw, I lead with my left hand. I don't know why. But you know, in the States, they don't give you a choice in kindergarten. At least not in 1989, 90 when I went. They put the pencil in your right hand. I remember being corrected in school.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. But when I was a kid, they're like, "No, wrong hand, son. Put it over here." Yeah, I remember it just being dreadfully hard for me and being one of the last kids to get to recess because I couldn't write my name without screwing it up.
So I'm going to make a massive leap here then. And there's such a strong streak of individuality in everything you do, in your playing, in your approach to making, the instruments you play. What do you think led you down that path instead of going, okay, I'll just go and get a job in a store somewhere and work there and, get a job, basically? You've decided, no, I'll take this huge risk on myself. I'll do the making, I'll do the repairs, my own business, my own ship, as it were.
My mother encouraged it.
Yeah.
One of my first jobs was working for a family friend who made fine furniture, a fellow named Joe Wakis. She saw the light in what I was doing as a kid and allowed me to do it. She took me out of public school in 8th grade, and for good reason too, because I wasn't getting along there. I didn't get in any real bad trouble, but I was just constantly focused on music and the guitar, and the school system that I went to was very focused on sports. And if you weren't a part of the sports program, you were dead weight. So she was an educator, and her education was in early childhood development. And she was very artistic, and she allowed me to experiment with things as a kid. I started down this path at, I don't know, probably 12 or so. And she took me out of school at 14. They put me on piano at like 7. So I've been chasing this music bug since I was a little kid.
But you've done classical as well. So you've sang before, you also played trumpet, classical guitar, piano.
I can't play those things anymore. I was terrible at drums now. I couldn't play a horn to save my soul. I bought one a few years ago and was like, I wonder if I still remember the C major scale. And I played it, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I put it back on the wall. But it was just this, my mom being the fine arts facilitator at one point, she was teaching Motown to little kids and teaching them about the Beatles and old rock and roll. And so she was already doing that work by the time that they had me. And it was just natural for her to be like, let him do what he's good at. He's good at this. So sure, do it. Encourage what's growing. Don't stifle it, you know?
Can I just have a look at your board for a second? One thing that I noticed, you've got the Nobels. That's always on. So you don't have a clean sound like without an overdrive pedal. You're actually using that and leaning into it, but you're just using dynamics to control your gain level.
Right.
Is that right?
That is exactly right. The Noble for me functions a lot like an amp,
Right.
as opposed to having like a distortion pedal. So the more you give it, the more you dig in, the more it will gain up and color your chord or your note. So if you back off the volume a little bit, you can get some more cleanish. Whereas you start to feel those harmonic buggers going at each other. You know what I mean? It's reactive.
Yeah.
Like an amp.
Yeah, right. Because finding an overdrive pedal, and whether it's that or whatever, finding an overdrive pedal that you can connect with and be dynamic with, and that will clean up, or when you dig in, I think fundamentally, it's such like for most guitar players, when they find it, it's an amazing thing. Like when Andy Timmons found the Keeley modded blues driver, for example, and it becomes the core of everything, so that you can do your clean tones and lean into it, but with that always on. But then you will stick more dirt on for other things.
Yeah. I've got this other. I actually just got this, and I love this. I need to call him and ask him for another one. For the Empress Drive, this thing just came out maybe a month ago, or maybe this month. But it is great stacked on top of that Nobels. And I don't have the Nobels crazy. It's like, I don't know, 1 o'clock on the drive side, straight up and down on the spectrum, and maybe 11 on the level. The Empress, turn this guy on. It's pretty hairy, and there's a gate on it, so I'm not. It really makes things a little more controllable for me, especially doing that singing through the neck thing.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Right, we're gonna do it. How on earth
singing
did
through
you
the
come up
pickups
with that?
I'm clumsy. So a lot of things, mistakes are not bad, guys. Like,
No.
they're learning experiences if you let them be. So again, I drop my pick in the floor. It's a mistake, a simple mistake. I go down to get it. I work really hard doing what I do. My back hurts. I get down there and I get it. And I get down there and I go, pick up my pickup. It scared me when I first did it. It really, it's like, what the fuck was that? Is there somebody here? I'm like, so that's what did it. It works best on the bridge pickup. And I'll use it for, there's a section of 6 with 9. And I was-
So when you first explained about this, I assumed it was a microphonic pickup, but it's not. It's resonating the string, right?
Yeah, and you got to get it, like, if I put it, like, up here, it's like, it's pretty muddy. But if I get it right on the voice box, you can get it to sound pretty clear.
I think there might be
In the heat of the moment, it's difficult.
I've
But
literally never seen that before.
No.
I mean, you spend 30 years around a guitar business, you see most shit. I have never seen that before.
It's wild.
yeah, there's a video on YouTube where I did 6 was 9 with a looper. And I think I was 27. It was right when I moved back to Tulsa. And I had a pickup winder, and I was still making pickups at the time. And I wound this middle pickup for my G&L Legacy that I just, like, how much wire can I stack on this thing and just to see what it does? And then I didn't wax pot it, and I stuck it in there, and it was like super microphonic. And I would just kind of yell at it like that. And it worked.
Yeah.
But when I tried to go take it to a gig, it was
squealing.
you couldn't use
Yeah.
it. It was just unbearable.
The thing for me, I mean, I saw that and it was just unreal. But every time I watch a video of yours, you playing live, something pops out. I'm like, how on earth did you come up with that? The level of creativity that you have in your approach to everything. But if we just focus on music for a moment, you just don't seem to have the same safeguards that so many of us have. You're just so willing to go there and try stuff. And if it doesn't work, you're fine with it.
I thought that's what we were supposed to be doing.
Like, yeah. You're right, though.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I think so many of us are so terrified of getting up on stage and making a mistake. You know, and that is a perfect example where you're saying, mate, it was a mistake that you went, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes you got to live with your mistakes. Sometimes they're great, and you can get something out of them. I feel like there's this culture around playing everything perfect,
Yeah.
particularly when I went to school for classical. What really turned me off to going to school for classical was I have really thin nails, and it's easy for me to break them, and I have a tracking problem. I have a hard time seeing which line the dot's on. So I would memorize the piece. So when it came time for finals, I was the only student that actually got through the piece without having a hesitation or a fumble. But when I got done and I had my consultation with the instructor, he told me, he said, son, you will never be a classical guitar player. You have terrible nails. You will have to wear fake nails, and you're not sight reading. You didn't read the piece. And they gave me a poor mark. I was just like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this. I don't want to live in those parameters where music is so defined that you can't be creative.
Yeah.
And that was really the start of the journey. I think from there I started experimenting with weird tunings out of classical because it was so defined and so rigid. They were very concerned with your posture, and which is good. I benefited from that. I'm not saying don't go to school. Go to school, please. You're going to learn things.
Yeah.
But don't get so ate up with the rules, man. Like, that's going to stifle your creativity.
Yeah. But there's just another example of you being told, this isn't right. This is, and you've just gone, and you've just turned it again into something positive. And it's man, it's so inspiring.
So we've talked about the benders and how that lends itself to some of those tones that you demonstrated there, which we'd associate, I think, certainly most British ears would associate that in the first instance with country music. And yet your solo records and your main output is more blues based.
Yeah.
So where's the crossover? How did you get into that whole bluesy side of playing? What got you lit up on that?
Well, when I first started playing guitar, this was before smartphones, so I would go to the library and check out cassette tapes. In the old days, we had these things called cassette tapes. They were plastic, and anyway, I would go and check out Elmore James, cassettes, and just play them and try to mimic the sounds. And I had a friend of the family, a guy named Bob Daniel, that was a very talented lap steel player. he played in the 13th floor elevators, I think it was, in maybe the 70s. But really great lap steel player, and he had started to show me how to use open D with lap steel.
Right.
And that's kind of what put me on the path for blues. Was I was really into Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix and old blues records, Robert Johnson and Elmore James, and anything that was in the library that was in the blues section came home with me at some point, and returned to the library in worse condition for having been played to the point where I would stretch the tapes and they'd warble when you'd listen to them. So yeah, it was, during that time, this was mid-90s. As a little kid, I remember seeing Stevie Ray on Austin City Limits. I remember seeing Junior Brown on Austin City Limits. Both of those were equally impactful for me, looking up at the little 13-inch screen on my mom's dresser and seeing Junior Brown on a Get Steel and going, I want to do that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It was the coolest thing ever. And I've gotten to open for Junior a couple of times in a country band, and it's really interesting to see firsthand if you haven't. But yeah, the blues is really an important part for that part of the country. It still very much has a following there.
In Tulsa,
in
Oklahoma.
Tulsa and in the South. We're not quite the South, but we're close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always interested in that crossover between blues and country, and then I guess you could almost put certain types of jazz as the kind of triangle.
Oh, interesting.
So in the
Yeah.
UK, now all you country fans may not agree with this, but we didn't have a cultural access to country music like you did. So you'll say names like Little Jimmy Dickens and et cetera, and some of those early Western swing guys and all of that, and they just trip off the tongue for you. Those names are largely unknown here in this country because we didn't really get country until the super schmaltzy later 70s
Right.
stuff via
Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tulsa's on the way to Nashville for that circuit back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right.
So there was a lot of like layover for musicians in Tulsa. And if you look up Bob Wills, Bob Wills had a long-standing relationship with the King's Ballroom, and so much so that it's referred to as the house Bob built, even though he didn't physically get over there with a hammer. You know what I mean? It's country is so built into that part of the world because of where it lays along Route 66. If they were going to Texas and back to Nashville, like there was a circuit there that they ran. There's a lot of steel and country guitar players from that area. The Speedy West is from that area.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever listened to any of that stuff, Dan, but if you listen to Bob Wills' era Western swing, a lot of that steel guitar, and by steel guitar we mean lap steel guitar,
Yeah, non-pedal.
with all the tone swells and all of that.
Right.
But a lot of the voicings and a lot of the licks are super jazzy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And that, I guess that crossover is kind of
Yeah. Well, and
Where
Eldon
you begin.
Chamblin's rhythm playing, there's a lot of jazz influence there,
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
I've always thought that, like, the country thing is like, it's your brain has to be firing like a bebop jazz player because it's a lot of it's so clean and controlled. But the way that country guys and artists like yourself are able to follow the changes and but keep everything like firing is it's like almost like a bebop player, you know, because those chords have got to be in the country thing. If you're not following those changes and knowing those changes,
Yeah.
everyone knows. You know, those chords are so prominent. And I think one thing you were talking about before is looking at those old country tunes and like learning the standards to get your head around where those changes are falling. And when you're talking before as well, about going between the 1 and 4 chord as you were with the bender, and you would hear a lot of those pedal steel guys, you know, using that same technique.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thing, but the speed that a lot of those country tunes happen, and you've got to be on it, man. You got, you know, it's
Got to have a good recall.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you still play country?
I mean, maybe at home,
Yeah.
but I have really come to enjoy working for myself.
Yeah, nice.
There is much less drama. I get paid better because I'm in charge of the money. Like it's just a better thing all around for me to work for myself. And given the preference, I like some country. I'm not going to do a whole set of it, but because that's not where my heart's at. Like I'm a King's X fan, like through and through, man. Like Doug Pinnick, Ty Tabor, Jerry Gaskin. Like, come on, man. Like that's my stuff from when I was a teenager. I love
awesome.
Gretchen Goes to Nebraska and Dogman and like I love Van Halen and like I don't want to play just country music. Like there is definitely an obvious like stereotype looking at a Telecaster, particularly with a bender on it. It's like this guy, but like open D and a bender doesn't mean you have to play just country music.
Yeah, of course.
As you prove, one of go listen to some of Seth's music. It's on pretty much I found it on Apple Music, but I'm sure it's
It's on all the platforms. The label is a nonprofit label called Horton Records. And they got a Bandcamp for me and stuff. And none of those records would exist without Horton Records. He's produced a lot of stuff for Tulsa and Oklahoma in general. He's a huge part of why I'm even sitting here today.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, thanks to those guys. But what you'll hear is many are the blues records where we'll go through a 145 and maybe some slight embellishment upon that. But I always get this feel that you kind of want to break it and you want to go somewhere else, and there's a discordance, and then there might be like a rhythmic change or something that's very syncopated. But particularly in a lot of the harmony that you use, it's like I want you to feel uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll resolve. And that sort of push and pull really goes through your playing. Deliberate, you worked on that?
Yeah.
Or just something that you hear?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm also a huge Michael Landau fan.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. Because I hate that, right? When you're talking to someone, they say, hey, man, you sound like Landau. But then I can hear Sonny Landreth in your playing.
Yeah.
I can hear any number of country players. But that point where there are so many influences and you've taken so much stuff on, you only sound like yourself. And that is... It's really something.
I didn't spend a lot of time learning solos note for note. There were a few that I did, particularly with King's X. Was it Flies in Blue Skies or something like that? Dogman solo. I'd actually sat down and learned those in their entirety. But, like when I was a teenager, I learned Scuttlebutton. But
is it a bend or a slide?
What?
The first lick.
I always thought it was a slide, but I don't know. Maybe I was playing it wrong.
Me too.
I just didn't spend a lot of time learning solos note for note. I would hear something, even if it was on not a guitar record, and just be like, well, that was a cool run. I want to know how to do that. And when I switched to this tuning full time, that definitely happened a lot, where I would go back and try to, well, how would I do that on this?
Can you show us that harmonica lick that you learned? It's just so cool.
So I've got signatures on the back here. One of them is Jimmy Markham. Jimmy Markham played with Jimmy Reed, and he was a Tulsa legend. And I had him as a guest many, many times in Tulsa. And one of my favorite things that he would do a lot was this harmonica lick. And I had a video of him playing it on a song. I'm like, man, I wonder if I could do that on the guitar. And I sat down with it, and it turned out in my ear that over D, those notes landed kind of on a 4-chord, even over the 1. And then it's just getting the trill. Now do it with the slide. You have to have a way to get out of it.
Yeah,
so
right.
You can't just and then stop, because it just feels awkward. So having and you can do it up the neck over the 1. But yeah, I use that a lot, and it's my Jimmy Markham lick.
And your slide is on all the time, right?
Yeah.
So it's anchored there. It's always on this finger.
Yeah. And this is a Silica Sound 424. I've been using these since 2006, and I've had some people court me to use other stuff, but this thing, man, he makes them to fit me, and I love it, man. And I've dropped them and they don't immediately shatter like a Dunlop 215 does. And
Okay.
he's got some understanding of how to make a really nice glass slide, and they're tapered on the inside. You probably can't see that, but this bit that's colored has a thicker wall, so it actually fits on my finger without falling off.
And then I hear you earlier on actually hitting the fret with it as well.
Yeah.
To get
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I didn't confirm this when I played with him, but I have always believed that Derek uses the same technique. I got to sit in with him back in, what was it, maybe November or something? Or,
Did you?
last year, yeah.
That's cool.
So Derek Trucks.
Derek Trucks,
Yeah.
So Derek Truckshire.
but yeah, that's kind of. So I'm pushing into
I'm
the
certain I've heard him do that.
Yeah.
especially with that Eastern stuff, because man, those intonation points are really hard to land.
Yeah.
And man, what really struck me about him is the amount that guy plays. I showed up to the rehearsal at like 2:30, and he was already in his dressing room playing. And we went out and rehearsed for an hour, and they broke for lunch, and they went back to rehearsing again, up until the time of showtime at 7 whatever, and then they played first set. Went from stage back into the rehearsal room with small amps and stuff, played second set in there, went back on stage, played the rest of the night. So he had like a guitar around his neck from like 3 o'clock until 11 at night. Bonkers.
That makes sense.
What a stud.
It makes absolute sense because it is utterly a part of him, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Okay, we're going to zip all over the place. Want to ask you about flat fingerboards in a minute. In the first instance, seeing as you mentioned Landau, I hear chorus in your tone. Is that something that's created from stereo, or do you use chorus specifically?
It's created in stereo when I have the Halo.
Okay.
Which this is my travel board that I put together for this tour in Spain. I didn't have room for the extra bit, but Landau has that. Was it Arian? Yeah. And then there was a fella in Tulsa that did something similar with the same pedal, a guy named Steve Pryor.
Yeah.
And I've known people over the years to do that, to have a tiny bit of chorus on. So typically I'll have a Keeley Seafoam that I leave on just the tiniest amount all the time. So on my big board at home, I've got that Seafoam is always on a little bit. I just love that little bit of seasickness that it induces.
Is that a dual mono thing, or are you splitting it going to 2 different amps?
The chorus is mono,
Right.
on the board, the other board. But in this case, I didn't really have room for it. It had to fit in that tiny little box, and I didn't have it on here.
So if we can hear though with the Halo, with the like the Andy Timmons thing, where you'd get that chorusy type thing, what would come out with that sort of a sound? Yeah.
So it's actually the modulation in the delay that's creating it.
Yeah, and this Nocturne does it a bit too. More noticeable with there's a modulation knob on here that'll it'll get really seasick if you let it.
Right.
Isn't the Nocturne basically the repeats of the Halo?
I think so. It's like the tail section of it.
section.
Yeah.
Okay, flat fingerboard then. I just was...
Yeah, this is amazing.
So when I was a kid, Silvertones and Harmonies and Dan Electros from the 50s and 60s were worthless. You couldn't give those things away where I live. And you could go to like, yard sales and find, Bobcats and things like that for $10-15.
What's a Bobcat?
Like a Harmony Bobcat has got the gold foil. It's kind of an offset looking body. There was a single pickup and a dual pickup version, generally a sunburst with a white guard, the kind of popsicle stick looking bridge and a little, ashtray looking thing that they had the strings go in. The student model guitar, they were probably $20 or something back in the day, nothing, just made out of generally, basswood or or alder or some cheap wood that they would use. And sometimes the fingerboards weren't even rosewood; they were dyed. Really cheap guitars.
Yeah.
Most of the time, those instruments didn't have a radius. If it wasn't flat, it was super flat, like a 20 or a 16 or something. But I grew up tinkering with those things, buying them for pennies on the dollar and taking them home and taking parts from one and putting them on another. But they generally had flat fingerboards.
Right.
Your nationals have flat fingerboards. When I took classical, those have flat fingerboards. All my lap steels were flat. Just kind of like, well, to me, in my mind, without really giving it much thought, I thought of slide guitar as being a flat thing. So when the first neck that I made for this failed, I instantly wanted to make another neck for it. And when I did, I decided to use it for slide. I went ahead and made it flat because it made more sense that the bar is flat.
Yeah.
The strings should be flat.
Yeah.
Because I was setting that curved rate. I think I had a 12 or a 14 on that first neck. And I realized real quick that in order to make good contact and not be bending my fingers around trying to make good contact, my high E's were excessively high. The B and the A were a little higher than I wanted them to be. And the ones in the middle were right.
Right.
That wasn't going to go. So a flat fingerboard it was.
And if you're trying to do like a whole chord with a radius, the amount of pressure you need to put on that is going to ping things out of tune.
Yep.
But also you're using your right hand to mute everything that you don't want.
Right.
Okay. How are you doing that though when your hands on the levers all the time?
I don't actually know. I'm using both hands actually. So my thumb is over, the fat part of my thumb is over these top two strings. And I'm grabbing, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the fat part here,
Mm-hmm.
and then the fat part here. Yeah. It's grip too. So I'll grab that with this.
How long did that
yeah,
take?
yeah. Well,
How long did that take? Because there is so much going on, and I see footage of you live, and one thing that I, even just from watching you on YouTube, I can tell you play so loud, and it's glorious because it's like everyone's feeling everything that you play, right? Just magic, the way it's meant to be. But you can't play at those sort of volume levels unless doing what you do, unless it is absolutely nailed to the floor. And I can't imagine that must have taken years and years and years.
A lot of bad notes were played, my friend. Yeah. And I still practice quite a bit. My wife is a saint. She puts up with a lot of noise and is not killed me in my sleep yet. There's still time. Mm-hmm.
Yet. Okay, so with all this very specific approach to the guitar, which if you play guitar like with a pick and no slide and no benders, this will all seem like a long way from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can you just strum G, C, and D?
Well, I mean, G is here. Here's my C. And my D is open. You can make that as interesting or as complicated
I
as
guess
you
my
wanna
question
make
is,
it.
do you ever do that?
No.
Right, yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of guys doing that. They don't need me to do it.
Love it.
Yeah, so I guess the point is the specifics of your technique, that guitar, the way you play becomes a very specific thing. So you inevitably don't sound like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. You live in your own house if you follow the path down far enough. So.
Yeah. With so many different elements. Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, when I hear you play some more, can we hear your sort of morphing between your cleaner and your dirty stuff? I just find it fascinating how, because you're not doing that with a volume pedal because the gain is hitting that the whole time. Is that specifically the volume on here?
Yes,
It
yes,
is, right,
yeah.
okay. And which is why you've actually turned this around and you've got, is this the volume here or
The
here?
volume is here. And I needed
Okay.
it out of the way because on occasion I may bump this. If it gets a little dark, I know that it's gotten dark and I
Okay.
can push it back down. But the volume, if I, like, for instance, so roll it back. Sounds different, but it's really essentially I'm playing the same thing, but with more gain. That right in front of it, you know? It's like stepping on a duck.
Okay.
More duck, less duck. More duck, less duck. We're going to get you to play in a minute. Do we need to hear anything else on the board?
The only thing we haven't heard is the wah pedal. Like, you know, like you need more texture. How do you use the wah pedal?
Man, my favorite thing about the wah pedal, particularly in the high gain setting, is I will take that with a bit of delay and I will run that out slowly, higher and higher and higher and higher. And it gets, you know, a little bit wrenching at times. The delay on it sounds like a lot more notes, right? So it just really just pushes things gain wise. The things add more, it adds more gain, and then you've got that sweep of filter on it. So it goes from, like, tellies are already bright, but you stuff some more gain on there, and it just goes from way back here to this open thing that's kind of scary, you know.
Can we hear it loud? I want to hear that loud.
Yeah. It gets kind of ugly. So it's not something I want to use all the time.
Sure.
But in the heat of battle, particularly in a Hendrix cover, when you do that, people just look at you like you're from outer space or something because they're just like, how is he doing that? It's really not that many notes. And they're in a fast succession, but it's a lot of the same notes.
Well, the tuning itself and the way that the fingerboard is laid out underneath that tuning enables you to do those legato runs and the faster runs in a more economical style, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that I always try to explain first when somebody asks me about this tuning, like when I was talking to you when we first walked in, is that it can be a bit daunting if someone take your guitar away and tune it all different and then hand it back to you and go, here you go. So what you have to understand about an open tuning is that you're already tuned to a chord. And to alter that chord, in most cases, an altered chord, they just actually omit notes.
Yeah.
Like removing one or two, or just like this is already a chord, right? I can put down one finger. Now it's a minor chord. I only moved one note.
Can I just make a very quick observation about that? One thing, if you'd not messed around with slide and you not sure about slide playing, the interesting thing, what Seth just did there, the slide becomes the fret, right?
Yes.
But because you push the string down, it goes underneath the slide.
Under it. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the Sonny Landreth, the glory of that man's magic is that he has mastered that technique. I use it to some effect and sparingly where I feel comfortable placing it. But if you have not heard Sonny Landreth do it, you've got to. And the record is Grant Street that you need to hear.
Okay.
Apologies, I interrupted. You were saying you've got your chord, and that's
Yeah. So moving one note, major, it's minor. So from just that, you can assume that making other chords is not terribly difficult. You're either going to subtract a note or move one and not very far. So, I mean, here, perfect example. Like, and I don't know what chords these are. Joey Landreth might know. invert it. That's a really nasty chord. Like, I'm holding down one here. It sounds like, you know, but it's not. It's one finger on the deck.
And the thing about leaving out the G string when you
Right, that's what I was going to do. So when we first walked in here, so if you're looking at single note, I only have two notes here. I have the A and the D. You already know those intervals from your regular guitar.
So these two here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same intervals. So look at this. I skipped the F sharp, or what you would know as G. That's a major scale. Move the same pattern up a half, becomes pentatonic. Now, taking this note from the first one and replacing this guy with it becomes like a hexatonic, like a country scale. So it's just a matter of getting your three fingers to work together, learning the claw hammer technique, or just running.
Can we hear that loud? That's amazing.
So it's a lot of the same notes. But if you're looking at it on paper, it's 3 octaves.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't really dawn on me that this was going on until I went and sat down with Dweezil, and he was looking at that particular pattern. He goes, you know, you're covering 3 octaves here, and I can't reach these 2 notes here because I'm tuned to E. But for him to do it, it was like the spread was that far to hit all those same notes. So it's actually easier in some senses if you could just get past the mental block that it's not your normal tuning.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And you didn't touch the G string once there.
Nope.
What you would know is the G string, F sharp in this case, right?
And those patterns continue symmetrically up the fretboard.
Yeah.
Their distance apart changes, but memorizing 2 strings is basically what you're starting with.
Yeah,
It's way less daunting, you know?
Fascinating.
Do you ever play in standard tuning?
A bit. I will do about 20% of the set in standard, and there's songs in standard on the last record,
Right.
which is Tulsa Custom. It'd be the black cover with the gold label with the Studebaker.
And is that because you've picked up a guitar that happened to be in standard and wrote a tune?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I purposely forced myself to stay in this tuning for a couple of reasons. When I first moved back to Tulsa, there was a lot of really great players, and I was like, man, there's some really great Strat slingers around here, and I was kind of stuck in that LA mindset trying to play Steve Lukather licks that I couldn't reach, and I just had to focus on this to really set myself apart, because when I first moved back, I could only get bass gigs.
Yeah, right.
I played bass in Los Angeles for a reggae band called the Expanders for many years, and I'm proficient at it, and I love doing it. Really more for the fact that I get to look around at the gig. But no offense, because I mean, a lot of the stuff I played bass for was not particularly demanding. You know what I mean? There's guys out there that really can't look around because they're so good. Pastorius kids, oh my God, those guys are scary.
So does that mean you end up then getting hired for you?
Yeah, I focused on what was different about what I was doing, and eventually gained some mastery of it to the point where I could get gigs doing this instead of playing bass. And there was kind of a tipping point where I was like, all right, I'm going to sell this bass, and then they can't call me for gigs anymore.
And did you?
I did. It was a 63 Jazz that I had restored. I probably should have kept it, but the purpose was to get more gigs doing what I wanted to do, which was this.
Okay, I got a question then. You've got Johnny's at home. He's learning guitar. And he hears you play and he goes, that's really cool. At what point does Johnny either go, right, I need to learn with the normal tuning and actually learn how to play that? Or he goes, no, this open tuning is just like super cool and I'm going to learn that at the expense of learning.
Going all in.
That's fine. I think Joey basically only plays
That's
in
what he
open
did,
now,
yeah.
right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Everybody's journey is their own. I feel like I'm able to get such a feeling out of playing in standard. I don't want to lose that.
Yes, okay.
Because that's where I started.
Yeah.
And my touchstone with the blues in the beginning was standard, not open. You know.
Okay.
This was later developed.
I got one more question about guitar stuff. Then we're going to get Seth to play a bit. Please go and watch the interview that Seth did with Rhett Shull.
Yes.
Because there's a super interesting bit in there where Seth explains his approach to the thumbpick and how that all came about. So rather than get him to go through all of that again, please go and watch that one with Rhett. It's really, really good. And also the Dweezil Zappa thing, which came out on Monday.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday, I think it was.
I haven't seen it yet, but you were telling us about it earlier. If you want to go deeper into the technique and the playing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Please watch those. The question I have, you sound your own strings down,
Oh, yeah.
which isn't a question, it's a statement, but what?
Yeah. So anybody that's spent much time with a bar on a guitar, there's a lot of what I refer to as white noise, static, just the sound of the bar frictioning against the strings. It was one of the reasons I switched to glass from using a brass one, because I felt like the glass white noise was less offensive than the metal white noise can be kind of harsh, particularly on the bridge pickup. So to get rid of that harshness, I actually sand the strings to 320 and I spray them with a bit of lacquer to kill them. And if you have read a bit about Eddie, he liked dead strings. There's more people than just me that like a dead string.
Yeah, okay.
And this kills the brightness of the string, makes it sound like a dead string without it being on the verge of snapping at the next gig.
Amazing.
And the question would come to mind, why not flat wounds? Because they sound flat.
Thank you.
They are ribbon. It's a different material. They're super bassy and mellow because they're intended for jazz. That's why the top end is gone on flat wounds.
So you still have top end, even though you sand them down and varnish and stuff, there's still tone there.
Right. And I've got a silver tone at home that I enjoy playing slide on that has flat wounds on it, but that is a different animal. It's a very short scale. It has the lipstick pickups. Those things are kind of brash in a way, and putting the flat wounds on that guitar, it gives it a harness ability for me to use it for what I do. But for this telly, I want to be able to hit that bridge pickup and still hear the top end. And with the flat wounds, it just goes away.
It's gone. How do you physically sand them? With a piece of sandpaper?
Yeah, so I just have a bench vise. You could use anything. I mean, I've used a nail before, just in, through the ball end and just pulling it. With the top two, I'll start with a heavier gauge, like 220 paper. But the bottom two are smooth enough already. I can start at 320. So polishing to 320 or 400, whatever you have, and then just wiping a bit of lacquer on and letting it dry.
So how often do you change strings then?
Well, that's kind of still in the debate period. I just started using the Paradigms.
Yep.
Which is these guys. Ernie Ball has been kind enough to take me on brand, and I have done my experiments up to this point are not to full conclusion. Before the brand I was using, I was getting 3 gigs out of a set of strings before I would have to change.
All of that.
Right.
Every string change.
Right. And it's only on the top 4 wound. The bottom 2 are 17s, and I don't do anything to them. I just stick them on. But the Paradigms are reinforced at the end. I don't know if you can see this end. You probably see the color of it on this one. But they're reinforced on the end so that I can not worry about breaking them as much. So there's like an extra bit there that makes it a little tougher. So I had a set of these on from early November, or no, it was like late October until I went to the NAMM show at the end of January. And I changed them right before the NAMM show because I didn't want to be breaking strings on Dweezil's interview like Dylan Saffler was. So I made sure I had a fresh set on. But I mean, I didn't break anything, and that was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, okay.
That's
How
quite a
many
long
gigs
time.
would you
Bunch
do
of
in
gigs
5 or
in
6
there?
weeks?
More than 3.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I think I still had my weekly at the point, and so I don't know, a couple per week, I guess.
Amazing.
So yeah, they're like noticeably more durable, and I am pretty destructive with the way that I play.
No doubt.
I will put my thumbpick through an A string after the 3rd gig on the brand I was using before. Just I break the big ones. I don't break the little guys. And it's from this not being here, I get tons of leverage.
We'll do a close up on this. But
I know.
You're-
I know.
I'd never seen one that rusty before.
It's gross. And this is the second one of these, and it's starting to get pretty. I chew up the edge of the pickup. I go through these thumb picks pretty regularly. These are
play-
slick picks, the Jim Kelly
right.
slick picks.
That you sand down yourself.
I trim them a bit, yeah.
But you use quite a lot of force, and it's that thing where you've just got to that point with your technique where everything is so smooth and even, but it's so tough and big and I tried studying classical for a while and it was very light. But you seem to do this thing with your fingers where it's really, you're getting a lot of voltage when you're.
I'm pushing it really hard, and part of that comes from not being afraid to break it because I can fix it. If you see in some of those gigs when I'm pushing on that neck, I'm not being nice to this guitar. And this is a non-adjustable neck. That's just a carbon fiber bar. There is no truss rod in this. It's most of the way through the neck, and it goes from here all the way to the end of this pocket, which is not typical of your skunk stripe. Your skunk stripe starts here, and it ends probably about right there.
Right.
Sometimes you'll actually see they leave an air gap in them nowadays so that they can expand a little bit and not push out the back. But part of that power that I'm pushing into this comes from a place of not being afraid of it, because if I break it, who gives a shit? I'll go fix it in the morning.
Just to make that point, and again, this is covered in other interviews, but Seth's guitar has no truss rod, just that carbon fiber insert. Did you know Bill Collings?
I did not. I am familiar with his work. I've massive respect for the things that have come out of that factory.
He always used to, I don't know about always used to say, he said that stiffness in the neck and mass in the neck is hugely important in guitar making. So much so that there's little metal rods.
Yeah, they do a couple of
Additional-
titaniums. When I make a neck that has a fingerboard, I put 2 carbon fiber bars
You do.
underneath, on either side of the compression rod. And I make my own traditional compression truss rods. I make them by hand. And but having those extra little bits of stiffness, I truly believe that having a really good stiff neck is going to be more noticeable in your ear than changing the body.
Yeah, right.
Man.
So you would advocate quarter sawn and all that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I use quartersawn. I use roasted. I use bird's eye. I typically will stay away from quilted material for making a neck. I find it to be a little unstable, at least what I'm able to get a hold of. But having some mass to the neck. If you look at this is 1 inch and 20 thousandths right here. The necks that I make don't sit on a Fender instrument. They're thicker than a Fender by about 35 thousandths. Typical Fender is 0.99 something right here. And then here I think I'm 990 at the first fret. So there's almost no taper from here to here.
Yeah, I noticed that playing that earlier. Yeah.
And making that neck slightly thicker here, I have to cut this slightly deeper. It's not by much. It's like a couple business cards. But you're moving the tuners that way. So I'm getting more angle over the nut. And then I've also got, it's difficult to see, there's a plate underneath here that I make that's tapered. So I don't have to use staggered tuners, because the main reason is if I were to break one, as clumsy as I am, any music store that is got a repair department, they're going to have a set of Klusons that I can just stick right on there. And this aluminum plate, I don't drill any holes for it. It just sits there like a washer, and it gives me a little bit more angle. And all those little bits of angle add up to more
just back through the headstock a bit. So
the whole headstock is set back.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm still scooping the same amount from the front to end up with my 0.585 or whatever this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's further back this way because I cut that material from the face.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Right.
A lot to take in.
Just amazing. No, it's amazing.
What's so interesting about today's discussion, and we've kind of gone all over the place. You'll probably come up with an example. I can't think of another guitar maker repairer who is also a pro player and releases music and has all this
songwriter,
just all of it. And we could do a whole show on any one of those little bits of it, not least the just absolute canon of knowledge that you gain from having done however many thousand repairs, etc.
My former employer, friend Askin, is quite the guitar player. He graduated Musicians Institute back when it was in its heyday, and he builds a fine instrument.
Okay,
and
what's
is
his
one
name
of
again?
Friend Askin.
Friend
and he's
Askin.
one of the premier restoration guys on the West Coast. I worked for him for a few years, and salt of the earth person, but also monster guitar player. Just holy smokes, the guy can play.
Great, another good guitar player.
Well, he stays very busy doing restoration repair on the West Coast. He's our installer for Evertune on the West Coast.
okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
We're going to get Seth to play a bit, to play us out, but might get him to play some other stuff that we can cut in during the video as well. And just to say, please come back.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Because we've literally scratched the surface today.
I'd be delighted to come back.
Come back and we'll organise some gigs or something because I want to.
That'll work.
I want to see you play, and here I think people need to experience you doing your thing.
Agreed.
Absolutely, because it's breath of fresh air isn't the right word, but I tell you what, it is. It's enlivening to the spirit to hear you play, because just to know that guitar, what you do exists and someone's out there doing it, and it's just awesome, man. It's been so great to have you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, let's get him back and get him on stage.
I'd be delighted to be back. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Brilliant. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Massive thanks to our patrons, to our preferred retailers, and to anyone that's gone to thatpoddershowstore.com and grabbed some merch. It's the main way we fund the show.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.
We will see you soon.
These amps sound great.